Now, critics are indeed pushing back against Afghanistan being included on the president's travel ban list. That's because tens of thousands of Afghans worked, fought, and even died alongside American forces during the war. And since the fall of the Taliban in 2021, roughly 200,000 of them have fled to the United States, fearful of reprisals because of their role in helping the U.S. Shawn Vandiver is president and chairman of Afghan EVAC, a humanitarian organization that works to support and relocate Afghan friends and allies. So, Shawn, first and foremost, just your general reaction to this announcement from the president.
Thanks so much for having me on today, Chris. Look, this executive order, when it came out, was terrifying, right? Now, it gives with one hand and takes with another, right? They have a full ban on 12 countries, including Afghanistan, but there is an exemption for Afghan SIV holders, and we understand their immediate family members. But what they're not telling you in this executive order is that the Biden-era systems that move them to safety, CARE, the Coordinator for Afghan Relocation Efforts, and Enduring Welcome, the multi-year end-to-end policy that Afghan EVAC and veterans organizations all across this country worked with the Biden administration to build, are being dismantled. You can't claim to protect our allies while firing the people who helped them and shutting down pathways for their loved ones to get here.
So where does this leave the people you work with?
Sure. So the people that we work with overseas are left scrambling. Yes, there's an exemption for SIVs here, but there's so much chaos. The order is very confusing. So people who have been waiting to reunify with their families for 3.5 years don't know whether or not they're going to be included or not, because the Trump administration seems focused on injecting more chaos and more uncertainty. And that limbo is what's killing folks, right? This ban blocks Afghan families from reuniting, spouses, kids, and fiancés of green card holders, Afghan students accepted into U.S. universities, diversity visa winners, fiancés of our U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents are all people who are being shut out. And what they don't say, they don't seem to care that Enduring Welcome is our safest, most secure legal immigration pathway in our country's entire history. But they don't like it because Joe Biden built it.
Well, the president's justification, which you probably know, for this move is essentially that the Taliban controls Afghanistan and therefore lacks, and I'm quoting here, competent or cooperative central authority for issuing passports or civil documents, and it does not have appropriate screening and vetting measures. Does he have a point?
No. And here's why. It's actually a few different things, right? One, this flies in the face of what Secretary Noem has been saying when she took away temporary protected status for Afghans, because they're saying it's safe. It's perfectly fine to go there. You're totally safe to go back to Afghanistan. No worries. Even though State Department has a level 3 or level 4 travel advisory, and they're saying that it's not safe to let people in from there. Also, Enduring Welcome, again, you can go to afghanevac.org/vetting and see the extraordinary measures that people have to go through to get here. There's no place in the world where we know more about the population than in Afghanistan. We spent 20 years there. We had an extraordinary intelligence collection mechanism. This is not about security. This is about political theater. This thing was written weeks ago. We helped break that this was on its way. Right at the beginning of the administration, they had to back off because they didn't have a political excuse to do it. But now they're pointing at Boulder. And earlier you mentioned that the guy that did that was Egyptian. Egypt's not even on this list. This is opportunism, plain and simple.
Shawn Vandiver, an important conversation. We thank you for joining us to have it.